9.2, using a formula to find a sequence. So a formula is similar to an equation, it's just telling us the general rule. So in this example, the formula is n plus 2, where n is the term number. So if we think back to a sequence like square numbers, so 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25, this is the first term in the sequence, the 4 is the second, the 9 is the third, 16 is the fourth, and unsurprisingly 25 is the fifth term. And these are our n values. So when n equals 1, the sequence would be 1. When n equals 2, the sequence term is 4. When n equals 3, the sequence term is 9, and so on. So what we need to do to generate the sequence, if we're given a formula, is substitute the n value into the formula. So if we're looking at the first term, we'll do n equals 1. If we're looking at the second term, it's n equals 2. The third term, n equals 4. Fourth term, n equals 4. And fifth term, n equals 5. So if we substitute 1 into the formula, you'd have 1 plus 2, which is 3. When n is 2, we've got 2 plus 2, which is 4. When n is 3, it's 3 plus 2, which is 5. When n is 4, it's going to be 4 plus 2, which is 6. And when n is 5, it would be 5 plus 2, which is 7. We could, if we were really interested, we could work out what the 108th term would be, and that would be n equals 108. And then it's going to be 108 plus 2, which would be 110. So the first 5 terms, though, they are 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's look at these examples. So we want to work out the first 5 terms in the sequence. So that's whenever n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, n equals 4, and n equals 5. And what we do is we substitute those into 2n. 2n, remember, is 2 times n. So 2 times n, when n is 1, is 2. When n is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. When n is 3, 2 times 2, or 3 times 2 is 6. When n is 4, 2 times 4 is 8. And when n is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. So the first 5 terms are 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. For the second sequence, it's 3n plus 1, and 3n plus 1 means 3 multiplied by n plus 1. So when n equals 1, it's going to be 3 times 1 plus 1. So 3 ones are 3 plus 1 is 4. When n is 2, it's going to be 3 times 2 plus 1. 3 twos are 6 plus 1 is 7. When it's 3, it's going to be 3 times 3 plus 1, which is 10. N is 4, 3 times 4 plus 1, which is 13. And when n is 5, it's 3 times 5 plus 1, which is 16. So the first 5 terms are 4, 7, 10, 13, and 16. For 4n minus 3, that means 4 multiplied by n, take away 3. So when n is 1, it's going to be 4 times 1, take away 3, which is 1. 4 times 2, take away 3. So that's 8, take away 3 is 5. 4 times 3, take away 3. So 4 3s are 12, take away 3 is 9. And n is 4, it's 4 times 4, take away 3. So that's 16, take away 3 is 13. And then 4 times 5, take away 3, which is 20, take away 3, which is 17. So we've got our sequence of 1, 5, 9, 13, and 17. The last example is 5 minus a half n, which is 5 minus a half times n, or 5 minus n divided by 2. So remember, to find a half of something, you just divide it by 2. So when n equals 1, it's going to be 5 minus 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2 is a half. 5 minus a half is 4.5. When n is 2, it's going to be 5 minus 2 divided by 2, which is 5 take away 1, which is 4. When it's 3, it's going to be 5 take away 3 divided by 2, which is 5 minus 1.5, which is 3.5. When n is 4, 5 minus 4 divided by 2, which is 5 minus 2, which is 3. And then 5 minus 5 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 5 take away 2.5 is 2.5. So our sequence there is 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5. Now the same would have been true, we would have generated the same sequence had we done a half times n. So a half of 1 is a half, so 5 take away a half is 4.5. A half times 2 is 1, a half times 3 is 1.5, a half times 4 is 2, so we're still taking away the same thing. But a half of something as written as divided by 2 makes life a little bit more straightforward. Next example, what is the 50th term of the sequence? With the formula 4n plus 15. So 4n plus 15 means 4 times n plus 15. If we're looking at the 50th term, that means that n equals 50. So remember, the n tells you which term number it is in the sequence. So if we're looking at the first term, n is 1, the second term, n is 2, and so on. So because we're looking at the 50th term, n must be 50. So that means we're going to have 4 times 50 plus 15, which is 200, plus 15, which is 215. The other way we could have done this example was to list the first 50 terms, but obviously we can see that this was a much quicker way of doing that.